Welcome, everyone. This is our official meeting of Public Health number 4 in County and Commissioner Jones. And I do call the meeting to order. We start with the roll call.
President Jones.
Present.
Vice President Howland.
Here.
Secretary Spikers.
Here.
Commissioner Young. Here. Commissioner Paul.
Here. It's a privilege for me to introduce our Mayor of North Bend here that's this morning to us.
To apologize to the. Well, thank you. I'm going to grow in North Bend, and I thought about this, what I was going to say. Didn't prepare any notes, but when I was a kid growing up here, which was some. In the town, population 720,000 acres. So Snoqualmie, the city of Snoqualmie had at that time about 1,800 population. In North Bend, had 4,000, but that was pretty successful. We're going to right. So that being said, North Bend is on the cusp of that very similar boom. Often when I first took office, I wondered if we were missing the boat because we were in moratorium and didn't get to take advantage of that growth that the other cities were getting, and of course the money that went along with it. But I also wondered if we might be able to say, learn from others' mistakes a little bit and do our growth a little smarter, a little better, take advantage of newer technologies. And I like to believe that that's what we're actually doing now. So, again, in 2009, we had about, we took in an annexation of 1,800 and another one about 200, which took us from 4,700 to, 67. That's not right. That's not correct. It's right at 6,000, so I'm mistaken. But since that time, we've had a lot of other annexations of nearly open space and some developments that were already within the city of North Bend. I believe the polygon homes at Cedar Falls is about 160 homes that are nearly complete. So at 2.5 per home, we're looking at another 360 or so, almost 400 people. And we have a bunch of smaller annexations or smaller developments that are coming in. Right now, if you count the properties of single-family dwellings that are in the pipeline from planning to permitting, it's about 600 homes, nearly 600 homes right now. And there's more interest in development. I find that amazing because we are now the only city on the east side that is really, really growing. All the other cities have really slowed down, including Snoqualmie. They still have some development going on, but they're seeing the end, and until they get the mill site developed, however they're going to do that, they're not going to see the kind of growth that we're seeing. In addition to that, obviously right across the street, Bartels will be open before right about Thanksgiving this year. And right across the river, there'll be a 5-story hotel in about a year and a half. 110 rooms. So that's going to lead me to my second point I was going to make. We, as a city of North Bend, realized early on our main claim to fame, although we would like to be a city that had a place for people to live, work, and play, we're a tourist attraction. We are a tourist attraction. Having a hotel is going to allow people to stay overnight, and therefore they will spend, the statistics suggest, 3 times as much money as if they don't stay overnight. That also means that we will have a lot more people in town at any given time needing medical care. So having a new hospital in the vicinity is going to be very, very important. We need to be all considering, not just the local residents, but the transients as they come through. It's going to be more and more as time goes on. So that really is about what I wanted to say tonight to you. If you have any questions about what I just was talking about, or anything else that you want to question me about, please feel free. Yes, Mr. Paul.
As a tourist and recreational area, campgrounds seem, and since we lost the leisure time, what campground facilities are there nearby in our area?
Improved campgrounds, I think the only other one is Fall City. And I don't remember the name of it, but right on the river there. Kevin, do you know? It's called Fall City Campground.
Have you considered that whole area of tourism?
No,
Campgrounds and so forth.
we hadn't even thought about it.
The John McDonald Park over in Carnegie is superb, but it's so far away. If we have a facility, yeah, right. She lives in Carnation, so it's pretty. But if we had something like that over here, it would be fantastic.
Interesting. I think that's something we could explore. Thank you. Yes?
What's the long-term limit of road that you achieve?
Long-term limit.
20 years out. Got to be thinking about that.
Well, we are assigned population targets by King County every year. Currently, I believe our population target is about 12,000 based on the buildable lands that we have available within the city limits. Okay, that, in addition to that, though, we also have approximately 20-25% more property that can be annexed. Although a lot of that is already built out, like Cedar Falls, or excuse me, not Cedar Falls, but Cedar Village and Alpine Estates and Riverbend. But then that remains. Then would that be some prime property for redevelopment? I know a lot of the properties in Riverbend are experiencing septic issues and not having a lot of space on their own properties for replacement of septics. Those properties are 70 years old. Those septics are 70 years old. It's only a matter of time. And then you have to look at how we're going to get sewer to them if they need it. Could be difficult and expensive.
What areas are you looking at to annex?
We aren't. And I say that not tongue-in-cheek, but my council has not pushed to promote annexation, with the exception of the area that was sewered 2 or 3 years ago. And we had to annex it in order to make it feasible. We couldn't pay for it without the annexation. But other than that, they're not willing to go out and promote it. As a matter of fact, they're always questioning people's motives when they do, come in with annexation. Say, okay, what about your neighbor? What about this? What about that? Because we don't want to be that. We want to be. If you want to be annexed, bring it to us. Come to us.
Any other questions? And we thank you for coming. We thank you for allowing us to be here. And
my pleasure.
Our district, of course.
Yes,
I appreciate that.
And my dad was administrator at Nelms from 1967 to 1969.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you again.
for approval of the agenda, to the motion. Second? Okay, any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, approve the minutes. This is the August 1st, 2013 special meeting. They're all special meetings. We're moving around the town.
I'll move approval of those minutes.
And a second?
So,
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Communications, what should be done?
Okay, thank you, Dick. I've got a few things for any of our public that's interested. We do have a dashboard showing relevant statistics if you'd like to back in the table. But there's some relevant statistics, both financial quality and just our normal operations, and showing censuses and clinic visits, our patient satisfaction scores, and some financial information like days in accounts receivable and net returns. So I would encourage you to take a look at that. Since we're in the road, Ben, I thought it would be appropriate tonight to talk to our community about a situation, a patient that we took care of recently. But I think it's a word of caution to our families that live here. The situation was that a 3-year-old boy was on the 3rd floor of his North Bend home, fell out the window, and fell 3 feet or so to the ground. And his mother immediately scooped him up and brought him to the hospital, where we were able to stabilize him and called in the air transport to Harborview. As far as we know, he's doing fine, and thanks to some quick thinking on everyone's part. But the caution would be to be careful in these, maybe not this week, but next week when we're having warmer weather and the windows are open. Just be careful with your kids if you're hanging around the windows. The next thing I'd like to talk about tonight is the effort that all of the King County hospitals, including Snoqualmie Valley Hospital, are undertaking in terms of community needs assessments. We're well into our completing our community needs assessment, and all 11 King County hospitals are participating with King County to pull together actually a consensus of community needs across King County. So we're playing a very active role in representing East King County in that effort. And it's our plan to have on next month's agenda Joe Larson, who will present some excellent information, excellent results from community meetings that he's been undertaking to, in collaboration with some of the other nonprofits in the community, to deliver a community needs assessment, which the board can consider and use this information to promote it strategically what we're going to be doing in the future for meeting our community's needs. Now, the last thing I have tonight is a small discussion about healthcare reform. It's here. In about 3 weeks, the sign-up period starts for the Medicaid program and the health exchange, insurance exchange that starts effective January 1st. So in order to accommodate our community in that effort and make it easy to sign up, we're putting a representative in our North Bend office, North Bend clinic office site, and we'll have that staffed, I believe, pretty much 4 days a week. And that person will be a resource for the community to walk through the process of signing up for Medicaid if you don't have insurance and qualify for Medicaid. Newly qualify for Medicaid if there's new rules and it's more a liberalization of the income requirements. And also to choose insurance if you don't qualify for Medicaid, but want to sign up through the exchange for private insurance, we'll be able to assist with that as well. So we're in the process of becoming trained to do that. All the rules are new. Every day something comes out, and the Healthcare Authority website that we're using as resource. And so we will be prepared on October 1st or so to assist the community in signing up for insurance.
So, Roger, how are we going to advertise and get the information out?
Since it's on Bendigo, we'll have big signs in the window, almost campaign signs in effect. And it will be accessed through our website to the Department of Health website so that people can look at that. There are some requirements associated with that in that the payment has to be made, or if you're signing up for January 1st, the payment has to be made no later than December 23rd. It has to be made electronically, and you have to have an email account in order to qualify for electronic billing. So there are a number of sort of administrative things that we're going to need to help people with, especially if they don't have computers, to navigate through this process.
Do I have any questions around it?
Question. How are we going to put the word out? Now, the North Point, you said it's on Bendigo. I have not been there. And so, could you give a little more directions of how to get to that thing?
For a shot, right. It's in one half of that.
So, do you know of other navigators or other people in this area that are active in those exchanges?
No, that's a good question in the sense that the State Healthcare Authority has assigned responsibility by county for that. For King County, it's King County Public Health that has the responsibility for that. And as usual, they're heavily concentrating their effort in the urban areas, so we're sort of left on our own. Although the representative that is leading the effort in King County will be here in North Bend actually addressing, I think, the City Council within the next couple of weeks.
So we get notice of that, I'd like to attend that.
September 17th.
September 17th.
And I believe in this room.
I guess what I'm wondering is, are we in a position to fulfill expectations of the public health department or the county or whoever in our role in assigning folks up?
Yes, we take a subordinate role to that. They have ultimate responsibility, but they're working with us. In fact, we're meeting with them next week to coordinate that with King County Public Health.
That's very good. I have earlier questions about the presentation. I have some questions about the statistics that no one else has any questions. Go ahead. Okay. When we say here recommend the family and friends, how do we gather that information? Is that when they leave the hospital, they fill out a little form, and would you recommend this to family and friends? Is it that simple?
Yes,
that's on your administrator's report.
Yes, that is a question on the survey, the patient satisfaction survey that we do back.
And that's what we look at.
That's right.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of questions on it.
Okay. I noticed that under the relationships, individual district residents receiving care, there was a decline in because these are so small. But there has been some decline, it appears.
Right.
I was comparing, it looks like January to June. I couldn't read that. Let's see. June, yes, there was a decline from June of 2012 to June 2013. Somewhat significant decline.
Well, it looks like to me that, yes. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it went from 2,500 down to 1,500 roughly.
Yeah, that should be We'll have to, research that.
Yeah, it seems to be an anomaly. Yeah, let's see. With on page 2, admissions by hospital, and you have the color codes and so forth. There's one that is direct. I think that means self-referral. Is that correct? Direct. What does that mean? This is admissions by hospital panel.
Direct from our ER to Swingdale.
Okay, so that's direct. But we also have a yellow there for the snow falling out. So isn't that also
Actually, I don't think it says direct.
Yeah, the right panel there. It has, it's the largest section of the circle, and it says direct. I wonder if that's not self-referral.
Oh, I was looking at the line chart in the middle of the page.
No,
The
sorry.
paragraph,
Top right.
that's direct from home.
That's
Direct
actually
admission.
So
It's direct.
direct from home, does that mean self-referral and direct from home?
No, it doesn't.
It means that that
Necessarily
is
mean
referring from
self-referral
home to
means
the.
they were home as a patient in their hospital.
Okay, all right. So the new is been getting all sorts of care at home. Okay. I think that's it for now. If I have any more questions, I'll.
Thanks, anybody else? Okay. As we've kind of gone throughout our district, and this is actually our last of our 10 back to home, but we have been giving same presentation we're doing that now by staff and hospital district updates. So I'm going to do that and turn it over to Roger.
Is there anybody here that hasn't? No. Introduce.
A little screens, I don't know, the commissioners have seen this, but we'll sure walk through the audience.
This takes about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think so.
Pardon me? I've seen this about 4 times. Sketch.
I'm Jill Green, Public Information Officer for the Hospital District. We are Public Hospital District number 4. As you can see from the map of King County, we're the largest of the hospital district. And we are covering an area of about 420 square miles. And our boundaries go north to Carnation, east to Snoqualmie Path, south to almost Maple Valley, and then west to almost at exit 20. Public hospital districts were authorized by the Washington State Legislature in 1945 with the purpose of delivering food centers to help people stay healthy, physically, mentally, and socially. We were voted into existence in 1972, and we operated Mills Hospital until 1979 when it closed. Our existing hospital began operating in 1983. We deliver health care to the Valley through our hospital and 4 clinics: the Snoqualmie Specialty Clinic, Snoqualmie Ridge Medical Clinic, Snoqualmie Women's Clinic, and our primary care clinic. Most of you are probably familiar with our traditional health services, including inpatients, 24-hour emergency care, pediatrics, lab services, a twin-bed program, and imaging. You may not be as familiar with some of our outreach efforts. Some of those include our outreach and support, our first aid tents, transportation to and from appointments. We have a portable access program, and our educational lunch and learn programs. Everything that we do as a school district has a community economic impact, and Roger will tell you more about that.
I think it's important to talk about the economic impact of the hospital to our community. Over the years, we've spent a great deal of effort in bringing the hospital back into active service. And today we have over 250 employees, actually, and we serve around 10,000 people in our valley each year. This chart shows two things. One is the green bars are the growth in gross revenue, and the blue is the amount of money that millions of dollars that we put on salaries every year. So you can see growth has been very substantial from 2008, even more dramatic from 2004 if we go back that far. And then in 2012, we paid something around $15 million in total salaries. When we look at inpatient days, this chart shows the growth primarily in the addition of our subacute beds over time. And you can see in the last year or so, we've reached pretty much capacity in the current facility. We've only got 14 patient rooms, and so even at that level, we're doubling up many patients in a room. And so I think this speaks to the need for a great need for moving forward with the new hospital, which Jim will give us an update very, very soon. When we look at the total operations of the clinic and the hospital, we've converted those into adjusted patient days, and it's a financial formula that we use, but it goes to so that we can show apples to apples when we're comparing total activity of the district for the clinics and the hospital, and you can see the continuing growth. And 2013 is no exception. We're ahead of 2012 for this year. One of the aspects of the public hospital districts is our commitment to serve everyone in our community, and that includes those that don't have insurance, aren't able to pay insurance, particularly through the emergency department. And you can see that's been consistently around $1.5 million each year that we're providing services that we don't get paid for, essentially. We've had accreditations. These are a few of them, and we've been recognized from WISHA and from quality organizations for the work that we do, and especially that board of pharmacy and so we have a fully staffed board certified emergency room physicians and internal medicine physicians that provide our hospital services. We were one of the first hospitals in the state, first CAH in our entire region, critical access hospital in our entire region, to reach meaningful use, and that's what we're talking about. We're on the leading edge of converting to electronic medical records and becoming connected with other hospitals in the system in order to provide better and more efficient care. And so this will be our first board meeting that we're actually able to talk about in construction, under construction, and in process, with a finite date for completion of the hospital.
Thank you, Roger. Okay, as Roger mentioned, we are in construction on the hospital. So that's an exciting day for us. But why are we in construction on the hospital? Whoops, I went the wrong way. Okay. As Roger mentioned, the existing hospital has 14 patient rooms. We have about 22 beds crammed into those 14 patient rooms. And that doesn't always work out so well because although we're able to provide adequate care in many circumstances, more than adequate care, we often run into issues where we can't put two patients in one room. And those issues range from gender. The potential patients are different genders, or they have a communicable condition, they have to be isolated in a room, and that actually limits the amount of service we can provide. 1983 doesn't seem like that long ago. I mean, but to me, and the existing hospital is an attractive facility, that doesn't seem that old, but in fact, the world of healthcare has changed a lot since 1983, and the new hospital addresses many of the issues that the old hospital is no longer able to adequately supply. So one of those issues is that you probably will recognize the shape of the hospital district from the slide that Jill was talking about. Well, the hospital district is not uniform, as I'm sure everyone is aware. So there are a number of nodes of population within the district. One of the difficulties with the existing hospital is that it's on the side of the hill in the woods, in a place that used to be near the highway that isn't anymore because the highway moved away. So actually getting to the hospital from the major routes of transportation is rather difficult. If you're in Snoqualmie, it's pretty easy to get there. If you're in Carnation, not so much, because it's the highway that says it's not there. And the ambulance routes are actually pretty ridiculous. They come off in downtown Brooklyn and go past the Elks and things like that. So we're addressing that by actually relocating the hospital to a location which is right by the freeway. So we basically picked one of the highest traffic intersections in the entire district and put the hospital there so that people can actually get to it easily and will know where it is before they need it. I'm going the wrong way. Okay. So this is a site plan of the new hospital. One of the other things we're addressing with the new hospital is that we are going to provide adequate parking. The existing hospital, if you've been there lately, does not have adequate parking. We are parking on the helipad, we're parking on the lawn. We're trying to keep patients open, spaces open for patients. It's a losing battle. So we're increasing the number of parking spaces for the new hospital by almost 100 spaces. On the wrong way again. This is the basement of the new hospital, which most people will never see, but it's kind of exciting for us because this is where the storage is, which is another thing that the new hospital doesn't have. This is the main floor, which will be the floor most often used by residents of the valley for routine care. The things that are on this floor, I guess my little red pointy thing isn't very visible there, but we have a main entry here. We have this is our registration desk, so we have a single point of entry for almost everything you would need to use at the hospital, whether you're checking in as an inpatient or coming in for something like an x-ray or a lab. We will have a nice dining room that will take advantage of this substantial kitchen we have to serve our patients anyway. We actually do have quite a decent kitchen, but not only is the dining room on the side of the hill in the woods and not near a highway, it's also in the basement. So people have a really difficult time actually playing in our hospital, so we're hoping to provide that as a better service. Our emergency room will be significantly expanded. We'll have 2 large and 3 regular sized exam rooms. We're adding some facilities we don't currently have, like a dedicated decontamination suite. And we are separating our ambulance entry from our walk-in entry. The lab is right next to the emergency department. The lab is probably somewhere you'd be most likely to visit as a technician if you needed a blood test or something along those lines. And we are also enlarging many of the spaces associated with the emergency department. That's X-ray and CT scan and those kinds of spaces. We are creating a dedicated and consolidated suite for the endoscopy program, which is currently kind of scattered in 2 different places within the hospital. Requires a lot of transporting around from place to place. And we are consolidating and relocating the primary care clinic and the specialty clinic into a single clinic within the envelope of the hospital. Oop, wrong way again. All right. So this is the upper floor of the hospital. And this is where most of the inpatient rooms will be located. We will have 25 single bed, single patient rooms. So we can actually get 25 people in the hospital like we're allowed to have. We frequently could get up to 25 patients if we had them down. So the rooms are designed to be patient-centered. So they're very much designed for easy access between the bed and the bathroom. They're designed for easy observation of staff. At the same time, they're designed to preserve patient privacy and dignity. And they are arranged around the floor. We have two large nurse stations, one at each end of the floor, so that they can be arranged according to the acuity of the patient, the activity, the severity of the illness. So patients that really need close supervision by staff can be located close in. Those that are perhaps closer to the end of their stay and are more mobile and more independent can be a little more removed, be in a place where they can get, it's a little quieter, a little more rest in those areas. We're providing largely expanded offices on this floor for a lot of folks that we should be automating it to help assist in the care of patients. Where now we really only have room for the direct care folks within the envelope of the unit itself. And we are relocating the pharmacy smack in the middle of the floor because that's what most of the folks are, the pharmacy service. We're also expanding our rehab department. Rehab department is something that's pretty unique to our hospital as opposed to a typical urban hospital because many of our patients are syndicate patients that are with us for quite a while. We're able to provide a much more intensive level of rehab that gets a lot of folks home, or into higher functioning situations where they might otherwise not be able to do that. Went the wrong way again. I need to check myself in the hospital. Okay. So we did a lot of work deep cleaning for our equipment, and in the process of doing so, we came up with these 3D computer models of gene therapy. They're kind of interesting to me anyway, because they kind of give you an idea of what's going on inside the hospital. This is an image of the emergency department. So right here, this is the emergency walk-in entry, ambulance entry over here, and these are the large rooms with the smaller rooms over there. Went the wrong way again. Okay, this is the emergency department again. Now we're looking back in the opposite direction we were looking before, just to give a sense of what the department will actually feel like. And this is one of our large rooms, considerably larger than the large rooms we have now. We have a lot more equipment and things we need to fit in there. And this is the laboratory. So the lab is basically divided into two areas. There's kind of a patient interface side on this side and sort of an equipment processing side on the other side. So designed to provide a comfortable and private environment for patients and a very efficient side for the work that the lab actually needs to do. This again is within the lab, looking back in the opposite direction. This is a view of the inpatient floor upstairs. It's designed so that there are good views across the floor so that staff can really keep a good eye on patients. And the hallways are designed to double as rehab so that we can make the most use out of every square inch of this building. This is a view of one of our patient rooms. As I mentioned, patient-centered. We've got some kind of neat features here where we can actually restock supplies in the room without disturbing the patient by reloading the cabinets from the hallway side. And this is our imaging department where we're showing our CT scanner, our X-ray department, ultrasound, cardio, stress echo testing. And that all happens in this department. This is a view of our dining room. As I mentioned, it will be a vastly improved space from the one in the basement on the second floor board. Now that's it. Any questions?
Where was that asking the question? Where does the second floor, first floor?
It's on the main floor. Okay, so the MRI will be located right here. That's what this outline is.
Yes. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Lindsay Gill from North Bend, and I was up at the site just recently looking at it, and I was wondering what kind of access, are you going to have to go down that road on the side, or is there going to be access from Snoqualmie Park?
The access will be from 89th Street, which is the side street that leads off Snoqualmie Parkway. The hospital actually will have its own small street, which is right here, which will be called Frontier Avenue Southeast. So the access will not be directly from the park, it will be from 89th Street.
Other questions?
Go ahead. This has come up before, but I'm still concerned that during rush hours, we've got as much as a 2-mile backup I'm taking that exit time. And it would be easier for a person to come all the way to North Bend and turn around and go back than to wait in that lineup. Now, I think that what I heard earlier was that we're going to be doing traffic counts, we're going to try to do litigation, etc. But it's a serious problem right now. And I think that has to be taken care of in advance.
Is there a question?
Yeah, what was it? So, Commissioner Paul, on that site, it was originally zoned for residential. Right. And so there was a what's called the SEPA, the State Environmental Policy Act analysis of that traffic implications of having, I think it was multi-residential, so there's significant amounts of people living at that site. So actually, our traffic volumes with the hospital are less than what it was originally intended for as residential, multi-residential. And the city of Snoqualmie has been very adamant about traffic limitations. We do have to do that study for 6 months after the hospital opens.
We have to wait until it opens.
That's what the city of Snoqualmie wants, because we can't do any mitigation until we get the data on what the problem is. But keep in mind, though, that our traffic volumes are less than what was originally zoned for.
I understand, but I guess it seems to me that the study could be done before the hospital opens, because the amount of traffic that the hospital would add is probably very little compared with the amount of traffic that's out there now.
The city wouldn't allow that. They wanted it after the hospital opens so we can get an accurate assessment of the number of employee trips, the number of patient trips, and how that interacts with rush hour. So we need to have that data for 6 months before we do any mitigation plan.
I think the study has already been done back when SR 1 and 2 that was years ago.
For the residential.
Right, for the
Yeah.
residential. So the base studies have already been done. I think there's no way anybody would want another study of the same, duplicate the same study. So you have to have some kind of comparison of the base, and that's what they've done. We couldn't possibly do another study that would make any sense or be worthwhile on after we build that.
But I understand that it just seems to me that the evidence is there that there's a 2-mile backup that we traffic question. And the question is there any mitigation that is being done now based on the earlier studies? Is there something that can be done now in advance of opening the hospital? I understand it would be nice to have all the data, including the hospital traffic, but it's serious enough now that it needs to be mitigation.
There actually was considerable mitigation done for traffic at the time that Snoqualmie Ridge 2, Phase 2 was approved, and that includes the widening of the parkway that was completed several years ago in anticipation of the full build-out of Snoqualmie Ridge 2.
And this back that you're referring to, is this not eastbound traffic on 980 at rush hour time?
Yes, and also
So those are people that are not coming from the hospital.
that's right. This is traffic. There is someone that's trying to get to the hospital coming eastbound on 90. There's a 2-mile backup basically before they can get off and come to the hospital. And also, I've heard complaints from people on the ridge that the traffic backup westbound at peak traffic times, which is like in the morning, that can back up a mile. That's very serious. At any rate, we've got some serious traffic problems there.
And that's important. Also, the emergency vehicles coming up with no signs and lights, and they don't be told about lights as well, so they'll be able to squirt around.
Yeah,
I think the city is definitely, they have to do that whole situation. One of the big problems in California is the trucks, the weigh station trucks going towards Tacoma, coming off that back stuff. So I know that they take a hard look at that whole situation. Any other questions?
I understand one of the recommendations for the hospitals that we're going to have all single bed rooms. Is that correct? Now, is there a way that those single bed rooms under pressure could be used as double bed rooms?
There is a single room which is set up to have 2 beds in it.
Jim, let me I can answer that pretty easily. We're have to operate under the rules of critical access hospitals, and we're limited to 25 setup beds. So the answer is no, we couldn't double up.
Oh, okay. Because there's always going to be a little transition, even if you only have staff for 25 days.
Right.
Where it might be nice if you could put 2 people in one room temporarily. Is that the vision?
No, we couldn't do that, actually. We can hold them in emergency department or on a stretcher.
What about a catastrophic emergency?
Then the
That leads to my next question, which I'm told that Medicaid will only approve double bed rooms. Is that not correct? They will only fund double bed rooms.
No, go ahead.
The answer's no.
Okay. Okay. Did you say something about the atrium and the fundraising for the atrium?
I'm not familiar with that atrium.
There's a patio or atrium.
What about the
Healing garden?
Yes.
that the foundation would be on?
Yeah, that would be something the foundation would need to address.
And what about the one addition to the building? Did you discuss that?
Oh, no, I didn't discuss that actually. That's a good point, Commissioner Ford. It actually does show in the slide. We have a relationship with Washington Network for Innovative Careers, which is a program of high school students training for future medical careers. It's a coalition of 7 school districts, one of which is the Snow Palm Valley School District. And the program is a cooperative program with us, and it is envisioned that the initial programs will be in the fields of rehab, inpatient rehab, physical therapy, and in the fields of medical. So it's not tech, it's exactly what the certification is, but it's training to be medical imaging professionals.
So the building permits for that, and are they being submitted at the same time as the other permits?
No, that doesn't happen at the same time. The state is still working on their funding. The funding is in place, but not dispersed.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Joe.
I just want to invite everyone to our official groundbreaking ceremony. It will be September 25th. It will be on our new site, and we just invite you all to come see a few speakers. Dick Jones will be speaking, Mayor Matt Larson, Mary Selecki, who is a former secretary for the Department of Health, and also Larry Benroya, who's the CEO for Benroya Companies, our developer. So come on out and get to see the actual official turning of the dirt. It's 2 to 3 on September 25th. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have our community reports of the Finance Committee.
We looked at the utilization statistics and that Steve's going to give us a few pages on results.
Good. There it is, utilization statistics. Trends really the same that we've seen all year. Growth in inpatient days, as you can see, we're over 300 days above where we were last year at the same time. And then outpatient services, still a slight decline in ER visits and a couple of the imaging, and clinic visits are pretty good. Profit and loss year to date, we have a positive bottom line of $139,000. For the month, we made $6,000. So we continue to operate in the black. Most of the revenues are fee for service. Val, any ideas? No. Huh.
Well, that was fast.
Yeah, that was quick, wasn't it?
Well, I have the,
You didn't want to put the... Let me just go over. Let me just go over. That's okay. Commissioners, you have in front of you the warrants report. We had paid to vendors, suppliers, $791,000 for the month. We had payroll, warrants, and direct deposits totaling $816,000. We paid $306,000 in payroll taxes, and contributions to employee retirement accounts for $79,000. Total amount of warrants issued, payroll, and vendor, $1.9 million, almost $2 million. And the last page, cash balances, we have unrestricted cash of $4.1 million, restricted cash, most of that are bond reserves, $2.2 million for total cash, $6.4 million. So, thank you.
Do we have questions?
Any questions? Commissioner Collins?
Legal financial bank?
Uh-huh. There are bank.
Yeah, but where are they located?
Downtown Seattle.
Okay, so they're just a commercial bank.
Yeah, they're a commercial bank. Yeah.
So we're getting whatever the interest, the highest rate of interest we can get from
Yeah, from a commercial bank, which isn't much.
commercial bank.
Yeah.
I just want to fill in a few of those. There's a lot that we do with that actually. The AR is a little bit down from what we projected. I'd say it was on a really nice slide. It really is good results coming down, and we'll have to discuss what really keeping a good eye on that. Clinic volumes are a little lower this year. That's due to the practitioner that just started, so that should increase. So they should be doing a little better in that department. We've got all the permits for the shell, correct? We filed for the shell foundation, and I looked at a couple of things because I didn't notice this, but I was looking at actual, it says gross operating revenue over $3 million for current month. Oh, that's pretty sizable. I didn't realize it was that much for 1 month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about a month's worth of gross operating revenue. Over $30 million annually.
Yeah, we're up a couple million already for the year. That's good. The expenses are about it. I should have looked.
Yeah, we're within 1% of the
budget. They did a very good job before. Really, really good. One thing we did look at is the recommendation from Congress for CAH status of rural hospitals. And this is something that we're going to probably want to continue to look at. I understand after talking to Jay and other folks that they're not a big worry right now. They have to almost reinvent the wheel to be able to do anything on this stuff. Reading some of the articles saying that instead of doing away with it, it doesn't allow it to 10 miles versus 35 miles. And that is something that might be something that we might want to be looking at. How many miles are we away from Swedish?
9.8. It's actually 9.
So that's something I would like to, a little bit, I did my own research on this, and I don't know if it's even possible to do this about these rules. There's not a formal process. expenditures proposal. So, but I do, or am concerned about this potential compromise. And lots of status between jeopardize our stage status. I'd like to staff continue to keep us updated on that, and we'll continue to look at future options. Yeah.
That's it. Question. The president's budget of the last 2 years has said that as of January 1st, 2013, hospitals are no longer farther than 10 miles from another hospital. Will not be able to retain their critical access hospital status. Now, Jay will tell you that that's the president's budget. It hasn't been passed, and that's correct. For the last 2 years, it's been the president's budget. Now, the operating budget of the federal government.
Obama hasn't had a budget passed in his entire presidency, and so he's not going to. The budget's been passed through a continuing resolution. There hasn't been a federal budget since Obama became president, and so whether or not it's in his budget or not, it's entirely speculative, and we're going to have to continue to monitor this with our Washington State Hospital Association and American Hospital Association advocacy team, working in conjunction with them and our congressional delegation.
Well, I agree fully. I just want to point out if you go to the EHHS budget for 2013-2014, both of those budgets proposals state that there's that 10-mile limit, and that will cause problems. Okay.
On the
question about the ER visits, most probably that has declined. Is there any logical explanation for about a 7 or 8% increase in the ER visits during the last year? Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, that's actually the experience of all the hospitals, most of the hospitals in Washington. We've undergone a statewide effort to reduce emergency room activity.
So in a sense, we've been successful. We're cooperating with other hospitals to reduce the ER visits.
Yes, that's we have a statewide network of communication ability to communicate to eliminate drug seekers from going from hospital to hospital. So we have we've been very successful in this.
On the couple comments I'd like to share, especially since we're in a different community for the benefits of our citizens here in North Bend. We set our budget typically at about 16 patient average daily census. And our average so far this year is 16.2. The month of July was last month that we accounted for here 17.5, so we actually were up in utilization in our swing debt units, which is a big part of our operation. Also, in the ER visits, though they've been down collectively, we averaged about 253 this month was about 289, so it's actually an increase. And in fact, the total clinic visits were actually higher than the average for the year as well. We typically service about 2,850 plus people per month in the entire system. And one of the most important things from last month's report that we had was our year-end audit from 2012. There was a glowing report. We had increased revenue and decreased expenses, which is, from a business perspective, very challenging to do. We also retired a large amount of debt, millions of dollars in debt for the district as well. So all in all, we got a pretty successful working job, a very successful financial picture that we'll be pretty darn proud of. And I would like to say thank you to the executive team for all the work that they're doing.
Okay. That I'd like to entertain a motion for the warrants, payroll, and federal taxes for 2013.
I make that motion. Second.
Further discussions of motion?
Mr. President, I'm going to vote against that. Conversation today with Steve Hanneman, excellent CFO, and
At this time, I can't vote for it because I don't have enough information to satisfy myself and the people I represent. Therefore, I will vote against it. It is not intended to be a reflection on the work that those who put it together. But I wanted to give that reason for my vote.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Opposed. And the director shall vote. Thank you. Medical committee.
Not a whole lot, what's going on, but not a whole lot new to report. We are planning for the flu vaccination distribution in the communities to occur in October. Through drive-by or drive-through. I guess you have drive-by. Go back and visit. No. Okay. And the lab has a separate survey from the Department of Health that was done on July 17th with no deficiencies. The pharmacy is going, has all the student slots full for the remainder of the year. We are getting students from places like Creighton University as well as Arkansas State Universities to do spend a block of time learning a pharmacy. In the clinics, Dr. Nielsen, I'm going to semester for nutrition, is integrating well. It's already getting one addition to the system. And putting the new hospital inventory review process still ongoing to further refine acquisition needs for the hospital. That means they're going through every single thing in the old hospital to determine what can be surplus, what is useful, etc. Minimize costs as much as you can.
Okay. Any questions?
What could it possible impact the Affordable Care Act on the Affordable Access Program?
I don't know that there will be.
There would definitely be less people who would participate in the access program, but it would stay existing because there would still be a portion of the students who would benefit from it.
So you don't envision a major impact.
In fact, there may be more because we cannot qualify for some of the affordable access programs. My understanding that some of the premiums are going to be, health plans are going to change for the private and the work and for some corporations. And that may make affordable access.
I heard on the radio, but you know, if there's other details I didn't get, but some about 40 plans right now are approved or offered to the public.
In the state of Washington.
Yeah, I heard that on the radio.
That's quite good.
Yeah. So I don't think
It's 8 carriers. So,
there's some plans in the system. All right.
question.
Okay.
Is there going to be any impact or even doing some kind of benefit from having cartels open in November with respect to pharmacy interaction or anything else?
There will be the impact on the hospital side. The inpatient pharmacy services remain the same. It's a benefit for our outpatients, so patients and people.
So it's so there's no way we can somehow enhance our quality of service or level of service by having this pharmacy.
Certainly, you have, anytime you have a pharmacy like Martell's available for your patients and get discharged, it's always a benefit for our discharge patient. To give them more options than just
Right.
Okay. Thank you. Facilities.
Thank you. As you can well imagine, it's a busy month of everything going on. Start with the new hospital project. The architect and Jim has already covered some of this, but the architect and engineers are currently finalizing their drawings. Coming on August 26th. Current plan is to submit a foundation shell permit with an initial permit later for the interior construction. This has been negotiated with the city and the Department of Health. As you can well imagine, there's a lot of communication going on.
with both the city and the Department of Health. Building permit approval for the foundation and shell is projected to occur on September 19th. The footings construction schedule begins shortly thereafter. And we used before some of the work that's already completed on site hospitals, and they're scheduled to install the foundation. The current schedule covers the first 8 weeks of the project, and Absher, who we've been working with all along, is currently working on a detailed schedule for the complete project, and I expect to take another couple of weeks. Turnover of the building to us is still projected to be at the end of the year of 2014. At the existing hospital, we had a water main break, which was rather interesting. Water main break is on the city side of Main, connection requiring temporary service via fire hydrant. The implements some safety emergency management exercises to maintain the duration of the temporary connection for water flow. The fire department was notified and supported for the duration of the condition. Those that have been up on the existing site are aware of a building construction project that's up there with the tribe. And the project is continuing on the framing with very little impact on the hospital operation. On the East Campus, engineering work by Tech has been completed, and this is regarding the well that we have up there. Zone valves and other critical components have been located, and discussions have been initiated with a local water district, Salado Water Association, regarding potential management of the water system. Building number 4, one of the buildings there, had a lot of deferred maintenance, and that's been completed now, including updating some of the air conditioning systems. As many of you know, there were some pools up there. Those have been filled, or bids were received, and those are going to be filled. They've been completed by now. So we're looking at dirt piles, landscapes, gardens, so to speak. And the work is scheduled, and that's been completed. Landscaping, much of the landscaping has been done. In fact, we hosted an after hours that was a Palm Valley Chamber of Commerce up there, which many of us attended. Great, just a great event hosted with one of the local breweries. And that went really well. It was really well attended. Significant additional progress has been made recently along the front driveway and the gravel lot. Surplus equipment, again, seeking to reduce quantity of stored items and district resources. Joan, you talked about that. And so that's underway as well. And that concludes the facility report. Any questions? Kevin, could I add one thing to that? It's not the district itself, but surrounding our East Campus, 22 acres, there's approximately 50 acres owned by Future Western, and they have received their logging permit from King County and have proceeded with logging most of that off. And so it's made a significant change in the, I guess, the character of that intersection in terms of trees. And so I just wanted to notify everybody that that's Future Western operation. And their goal is to put 10 residential properties on that.
So 10 residential properties, and means they put them in 5 acre parcels. It's a low density. Okay. I next have a question about the water main break. Does the city have any liability for the extra cost that we incurred?
We didn't incur the costs.
We didn't incur costs for the firewalls maintained.
The city incurred all the costs. And in fact, the fire department was up there a lot of the time, so sitting on site.
Okay, thank you. We come to public comment. Address the commissioners any questions or would like to address us. It's informal tonight, so I appreciate it. So,
sure.
What's his name? What you are?
Sure. My name is Scott Scowcroft. I am former executive director of the Snoqualmie Valley Hospital Foundation and currently on the board of directors. I was in the marketing department at one time. I live in West Seattle, but I've maintained my relationship with Snoqualmie Valley And one of the reasons I've done that is because this is a very, very special place. And I think everyone in this room knows that, otherwise you wouldn't be here. I think one of the reasons that Valley is a terrific place is because of the people who are on the board of commissioners. They're community leaders who have just really made a difference. I, first of all, became aware of the district right about the time that you were doing the due diligence about remodeling the current hospital building. You decided, came to the conclusion that it was obsolete, but that it couldn't be remodeled. So you took what I think was a very insightful and courageous decision to move it to actually build something that's brand new, something that would be good for the 21st century. What we didn't know at the time, what you didn't know at the time, was that I was just at the very beginning of the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. And I have watched you guys for the last 6-7 years just have to navigate so many different obstacles and so many different areas of the economy have been just so rough. Other critical access hospitals and your peers have really struggled. But I've seen you thrive and turn the hospital district around. And so I wanted to take this moment just prior to the groundbreaking to congratulate you and to I've attended a lot of these meetings in the last year and a half, and I've always felt that you should leave these meetings energized, and that you should, kind of be a little taller and a little bit, more energized because of the good works that you've done. And that's not always been the case. So I hope that going forward, when you can actually see the physical component manifest itself, that you'll remember what you've done and how hard it has been through all of the obstacles that you've had to face. I just think that you've been brilliant. You haven't lost focus. You haven't lost your vision. You haven't lost your courage during this period of time. So you are true heroes for the Snoqualmie Valley. And I just think that it will continue to be the special place that it has been because of your efforts. And all of this would not have really mattered much were it not also for the fact that the hospital has turned itself around and its medical excellence is just apparent to everyone. There is no one who knows about the type of medical care that the hospital and the district and the clinics provide that wouldn't just say that it was terrific. And the district has found its voice, and it's found its stride, and it's found its niche. It's not all things for all people, but it's the right things for the people in the valley. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate you and hope that you just can leave from now on these meetings energized and standing a little bit taller and really appreciating yourself, what you've done. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Again, my name is Lynn Keel. I'm from North Bend. I've lived in the valley for 4 years, and before I get started, yes, I was a former commissioner. But I would also like to congratulate you for moving forward. When I first came to this valley and we wanted to get health care, everybody told us, don't go to Overlake. Go on into Seattle. They have better health care. I don't want to hear that for the valley. I think that the move that you're making is wonderful. I'm excited to see it. And the only thing I didn't hear tonight is a completion date.
December 2014.
December 2014. 2 dates in our history. September 2013 and December 2014. Yay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, under new business, we have resolution 4460913. This is approved granting the easements and conveyance regarding the replacement hospital at the hospital. So I'd like to entertain a motion for that.
So
And a second.
second.
Okay, open for discussion.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I can clarify. So these are additional conveyances and easements required by the city of Snoqualmie as part of the permitting process. The last batch of easements that you approved are in addition to these before you tonight. The city of Snoqualmie. So the last time we did this, you approved easements for access to the stormwater detention ponds, access to the lift station, and so forth. Now that we went back to the city, and the city provided additional guidance that they also wanted the land conveyed to the city, which is common. That's what happened in all of Snoqualmie Ridge development. Both the land was conveyed and there were easements provided to the city for access across our property to those other water retention ponds and so forth. So these documents then convey the land that will situate the retention ponds, on which the sewer station will be located. There's also another easement for a sidewalk on our property that will be for pedestrian access across our property from Imagine Housing and the community north, just to the north of our parcel. There's also a developer extension agreement, which is again another requirement from the city of Snoqualmie. Whenever the city extends utilities to a development, it requires a development extension agreement, which sets forth the requirements that the city will require to extend those utilities. And essentially, it's what we're doing now with our we covenant that we will build the utilities in accordance with city ordinances and up to the specifications as required by city ordinance, and that we will grant easements to the city for those utilities. So all of these, again, are additional requirements that the city of Snoqualmie provided to us at our last meeting with the city. That was about 3 weeks ago. We just finished these documents this week. We got them as soon as we got them done. So again, it's a requirement that the city is expecting of us as part of the permit process. And there'll be, once we have 2 years of operations with the lift station and the water retention, the stormwater retention ponds, then we'll actually convey the improvements, those actual improvements to the city via statutory Mtg as well, which is again consistent with their past practices on Snoqualmie Ridge.
I guess I had a comment. This is basic housekeeping.
Right.
That I see. But there is one, I mean, who's responsible for if all these conveyances are made, who's responsible for the maintenance of the whole thing?
The city.
Okay.
City.
That's what I want to hear.
Right.
So they want it.
That's right.
Yeah, and then they have access and they can comply with the state statutes.
Right. Exactly.
Question. I just want to ask Jay. Jay, did you prepare this resolution?
Yes.
Okay. And then the city prepared all of the documentation on the deeds.
No. Those documents were prepared by, we use an outside firm in the supply, and then I also assisted in the drafting of those documents as well.
Okay, but that's what we get for our how much, $80,000 permit fee? What was our permit fee? That's part of our permit fee.
Well, no, I
guess it's a separate issue.
It's a separate, yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious as to who did this, because the only name on it is the city of Snoqualmie, and so the attorneys that prepared this are not listed. Thank you.
Yeah.
I realize it's just housekeeping, but I'm going to go against this because I still represent that part of the community that feels that without the vote of the citizens, we should not move ahead with this hospital. Even the president himself has, under tremendous pressure, stepped back and said, maybe we need to look at this again. the former president, head, chairman of CMS, said we're spending $780 billion a year more than we should. Part of that is because bring it back to you. Could I have just
No, because we're on this item here, you're going off on the tangent.
I'm explaining why I'm going to vote against
Well,
it.
that's fine, but,
May I have a minute?
You got it.
May I have?
I'll give you that minute.
May I finish my sentence?
Go ahead and finish your sentence.
Dr. Berwick said we're wasting $780 billion a year, partly through duplication of services and facilities. I think this building this hospital is a duplication. It's unnecessary, a waste of energy, and a waste of scarce healthcare dollars. So that's why I'm going to vote against it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, we're going to say the motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Opposed. Record shows. Okay, next one is resolution 447-0913. It's approval of expansion of the Snoqualmie Ridge Women's Clinic. Russell,
Thank you, Dick. I apologize that we didn't have a lot of time to consider this before the meeting, but there's some urgency to considering this lease. We're in a very fortunate position of being completely out of room in both of our clinics, the Women's Clinic and the Snoqualmie Ridge Clinic. With the addition of Dr. Nielsen, we've, in fact, I don't even think she has permanent examiners. She kind of rotates through, and every day maybe is in a different room. So we have been negotiating probably for more than 6 months with Dr. Duval, who owns the optometric practice there on the corner on the ridge.
I'm sorry, I was just making sure you're following safety. Okay, go ahead.
And his office is directly on the corner, adjacent to our Snoqualmie Ridge Medical Clinic. So when he approached us with the idea of moving across the street to a larger space to accommodate a partner for him, would we be interested in taking over his space and purchasing the leasehold improvements of the clinic? We entered into conversations around that. So we're in a very fortunate position of having adjacent space to our current clinic open up, that we'll be able to move our women's clinic down to the first floor, which for ladies that are expecting in their 8th and 9th month, it's very awkward to get up to the second floor. So having it nice on the ground floor and very visible, as well as an entranceway to the clinic in general, we feel is a great improvement. The terms of the lease will be for 6 months. 6 years. 6 years, sorry. And the lease rate is what we're already paying in the Snoqualmie Ridge lease, and there will be no rent increases for that 6 years. We also will be purchasing, as I mentioned, his leasehold improvements, which he originally spent somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000 for. We'll be paying him $150,000 for that, because we don't have to build the space out. We can accept it as a clinic. So, unless you have other questions, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to entertain a motion to 447-1913. Second?
Well, I've got a question.
Second. And then,
I'll second.
all right, now open for discussion. One second.
So we won't have to spend any more money on the improvements at all.
We have a small amount because we want to run water to the examiners. They don't have water for hand washing, so there'll be some expense. It'll be
$5 grand, $10 grand.
we're pricing that.
What about the other space that the women's clinic operates in right now? What's going on with that?
We will have one of two choices. One is giving the lease out. What our preference is to actually move our finance department there. is increasing its pressure on the district to vacate, and we see this as a way to put our finance department in a better environment for a couple of years until we actually have something to do.
Well, we don't have to vacate until we move into the hospital, right? The finance department doesn't have to.
We don't have to.
And so if we're leaving, it tries to put any pressure on us, but they have no leverage to push us out, correct?
Well, we'll be meeting with their attorney.
Well, that's cool. That's cool.
So why are we going into another space for a finance department and paying additional monies for what, 2 more years? Right, a year and a half.
Well, the option would be to do this.
What's the cost per month?
That's about 15.
About 1,500.
15.
$1,500
On
on the women's
Building department there.
Right now, we have the building department.
Right. It's on the old campus, medical office. The finance department actually is in with our clinic, which is very awkward. It's in the old medical office building.
Yeah, it's not an
We're not talking about the building office.
No.
That's what I was confused with, the finance and building.
That's correct.
Okay, so billing is on the east campus, right? Finance is in the old building.
It also would make sense from a standpoint of the meetings that we have and the synergy between Steve's department, and it would be much more efficient if we had that department close to the district office, and then we all knew when the hospital is built in that office. So that's why we're considering moving finance.
The TA work that was done by the optical movement was what all amount, you say?
It was somewhere between 250 and 300,000.
Okay, and we're paying 150. Okay.
As opposed to going into rack space.
I'm sure that's probably fair. No. Efficient. Okay, thank you. So we're going to go from 4928 to 6368. If I understand this correctly. And the cost per square foot is, I think you said, Roger, basically the same. Cost per square foot based on what we're currently paying relative to about 26. About 26. Is that plus triple net or inclusive of that's true? On top of that. Okay. On 7 there, it talks about an increase of 10%. Can you talk about that?
That's a residential. Yeah, that's a situation. So we would have the option of either vacating or.
Thank you for. Okay, very good. So that's speaking specifically to post.
That's 72 months. That's the 7th.
So on the 73rd month, effectively, we have a 10% off. Okay, good. Is there any CPI prior to that?
No. Now we have a 6-year lease at that flat rate, and then we have 2 5-year extensions.
Okay.
Okay, I just need a clarification for that. Way on the same page. By voting for or against this resolution has nothing to do with whether or not the finance department
That's correct.
that will be determined at another.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, there's notice here under item 6 on page number. Item 6, minimum rent. Commencing on commencement date, financial payment, etc. Monthly minimum rent not stated below. Monthly amount $14,265.50 per month.
Right.
That's for
Only 7,000 square feet.
That's for the lower part of the building that we're now occupying. Above, you're up above.
It's only one floor of where the Ridge Clinic is.
Yeah.
So it's the entire block. We had the entire block.
Okay. And now our district offices are up above.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And what I want to point out that, as Mayor Herring pointed out, he's got 600 residential applications in here. Snoqualmie is building out another 1,000 homes. This valley needs more primary care. We have absolutely no space to do that. This is an efficient way of increasing our clinic space for the future by having it contiguous and being able to take advantage of the efficiencies of reception and that kind of thing. The other advantage that we would have in our current space, we don't have room for a clinic manager. With this space, we would have the ability to move our clinic manager who manages that clinic actually outside. So there are a number of real advantages, both immediate and for future growth.
I want to make a comment about, I have actually a real importance for the women's clinic. We've fought for that for quite a while. I think that a lot of women request that service, and that we need to support that and expand it. We brought in some great docs. We have a big doctor there, plus other specialists. And we talked to a few women who really like the service that we provide. I think it would be much more available to them. Having pregnant is not a good thing. And so I'm really in favor of this expansion.
Is it typical for a hospital to have such a thing as the women's clinic?
Well, for sure. Almost all of our public hospital districts actually, especially in the smaller areas, smaller communities, actually hire all physicians and specialists. So actually, OBGYN is almost considered, or can be considered, primary care. That's why it makes sense to look at it.
So, men would not be going to this kind of partly because the main things done. So, well, there's a lot of attractive things here. It just seems so expensive.
This is actually the second expansion of this clinic. We took over the original space, and then we expanded it once to take over the clothing store that was next to it. So we've been in there for probably 3 or 4 or 5 years. And this will be the second expansion, clear to the corner, so that we have corner visibility.
Well, as I say, it has some really attractive features, solid things. It's just the cost. I'm not an expert, and I presume that those who are real estate appraisers and this kind of thing would know that this is a market value that we're paying.
Yeah, we are paying market rates for this lease. We did some analysis on that using a commercial real estate appraisal service.
Okay, I think it's great. The only thing I can hang up on is if the finance department has the people, we're still able to rent at least
Well, if we cancel it,
That would be our option. We would want to things we negotiated with. The landlord used to be the same for both buildings. Now there's 2 different owners. So part of the negotiation is to Brian Duvall and takes a larger space. He actually is taking 2 or 3 suites over there in exchange, and we're for extra large space. So that's part of the negotiation.
So what do you think the prospects are for that? What do you think the prospects are for negotiating?
Well, this is the end of the negotiation. I mean, this lease represents the results of our negotiation.
Okay, but again, to Mr. Spiker's question, are we still on the hook?
It's our choice. I mean, we're considering keeping that space because it would be to our
okay, so they're not obligated.
Yeah, right. There are advantages that we feel it's there.
But you come back to the recommendation.
So worth about 25 grand.
Yeah.
That's why I see a lost grant unpaid.
And Steve, we're running back and forth to the hospital all the time. So
15 months for that.
Yeah. One of the things that I think are to the forefront that hasn't been aired yet, especially with citizens in the community. One of the things that we always look at, the finance committee, is their return on investment. Is there going to be the revenue stream back to the district, the citizens that we serve when we make these decisions? One of the things that is really important that we track on an ongoing basis is what's the revenue generation back to the referral generation back to the hospital. And if you look at the clinics alone, just as a Ridge clinic, and the women's clinic last month was $121,000 of referred business, and the Sapone Ridge, the women's was $13,499. So you've got $134,000, $135,000 a month, and we're going to pay $14,000 on a gross basis. They see that, maybe that 14,265, and the average, and that's actually down just to disclose, we're averaging in the neighborhood of $155,000 a month. So when we talk about a return on investment, we're getting $155,000 to the hospital, and we're paying out that money. And then with regards to the efficiency, David's point still stands as far as we need it. Is there enough efficiency to maintain that space that we perhaps don't have to keep it? But if there's enough efficiency, you guys have to do a check for that. But there's certainly an ROI on it. My estimation, and in fact, I think that's one of the lines, especially with that inflation. Those numbers are.
Let's ask the tribe for a buyout, just as they did to us. Why don't we ask them for 20 grand and get out of here early? Why don't we do that?
Actually, what we've told them is that if they would prefer to reinstate the full $30 million purchase price, we'd be happy to vacate now.
Why don't you ask them for a $20,000 buyout? Tell them it's going to cost us 25 grand. We'll give it to you for 20. I think we should go back to the tribe and tell them, and be a little stern, and say we need a buyout. Right?
Because we're going off.
But no, it's not off the point. The point is, we're going to lose 25 grand by getting out of there and teasing the tribe. We have no absolute, no commitment.
Right, and they understand that. They do understand that. We actually have been, they have asked us to move, and we said, under no terms, under no circumstances are we going to vacate our campus until our new hospital is constructed. And they know that.
Okay.
We're looking, you go for quick, and we will, looks like we're almost done with discussion.
I am. I'd almost want to have to go back to the tribe. We can do this, but I'm not sure if I want to move the finance.
I don't see, okay, but that's a different issue. Wait, that's a different issue. Well, we can talk about that. We don't have to do that now.
No, the two issues are separate.
They're total different issues.
Yeah.
We're talking about the ones.
I thought that was tied in. We have to decide one way or the other.
No, I think it's no. I'm going to
If
ask.
we move our limits clinic, they will release us from our current limits. If we want to maintain that, we can.
But when do we have to tell?
This won't be,
In the building,
we won't be moving until April and May.
So you bring this back to us for the
Yes,
discussion.
yeah.
So basically, we're not voting on that issue at all. Good point. Everybody understand that?
I don't fully understand that.
We're not voting. We're not voting whether to keep the clinic there or not. We're voting to get that space from Dr. Duval and to put in our women's clinic there. We will come back to the future meeting and later discuss what we want to do.
I think Mr. Stryker is making a very good point, though. You took a real hit on that $14 million share some of that in this process or whatever future negotiations we have with the tribe, we should do it.
No, I got one last comment. I mean, even if we're not going to be moving till April, right? We're not going to move till April. We have to figure out by then whether we're going to keep.
I agree.
So,
And I have asked the staff, I'll formally ask the staff
all right,
to come back
that's
to
all
us
I want.
with a proposal to discuss.
Right, the negotiations may take months, so I think it's just like we just right on.
Okay. Everybody understand the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion unanimous. Physician credentialing, Dr.
So the Medical Executive Committee met on August 26th, and we actually had only a few people to deal with this month for no particular reason. There is one physician, Dr. Brian Tyron, and he's a new radiologist, and so the group recommends him for approval for initial credentialing for the provisional staff. We have 2 active staff who are due for re-credentialing. It's Dr. Callie Kang and Dr. Don Wortham. And again, both of their reviews were without issue, and the medical committee recommends approval. We had 2 courtesy staff members who were due for re-credentialing, and that's Dr. Kimberly Liu and Dr. Mohammed Khorshid, and he's from radiology, and I recommend approval for both of those as well.
Any questions for that?
Let me just ask a general question about plastic surgery. With credentialing, not really do the plastic surgery, but we don't do plastic surgery. Could you explain that to me?
The category of privileges that these surgeons such as she has is called a refer and follow. And so it may be that a consultation occurs to have her come out and do an evaluation of a patient in the hospital, and she may recommend surgery, and in that case we would relocate the patient to a place that could do surgery. And that's the refer part. And then the and follow means that it may be somebody who's had plastic surgery elsewhere, and we're managing them postoperatively, and they would be following.
Thank you.
I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the recommendations.
Approval of the recommendations.
Do you understand the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimous. Okay, our next meeting is back to Palmy on October 3rd. Okay, entertain a motion to adjourn. Do you second? Second. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Appreciate your comments and good support. Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah, beautiful comments.
Yeah, I saw somebody.
Yeah.
I saw that.